What to do if your warm-up regulator goes bust. The warm-up regulator is the heart and soul of the K-Jetronic, not K-E-Jetronic, K-Jetronic fuel pressure management system. And it helps your engine run right when it's starting, when it's warm, and when it's cold, and it adjusts for temperature outside. So we're going to talk about some of the items on your car and some of the characteristics of a bad warm-up regulator, and also what to look for in case one of them fails. So I've got with me a brand new warm-up regulator, code 015, and the warm-up regulators have a different 3-digit code here. So for example, if you have a Euro 500 SEL or a 500 SEC or a 500 SL, you should have code 101. If you have a US 500 SEL or a 380 SE and SEL, you should have code 068, there's another one too, but 068 was a really common one in these cars. So warm-up regulators are notorious for sticking when they get to be fully warmed up, and there are some adjustments you can make on these things, but right now I'm going to talk about their symptomology, and I'm going to talk about where problems occur. So the first thing is that in here, inside this 14 millimeter orifice, there's a screen down here, and you can actually remove this orifice and clean the screen if you're running into stumbling or extremely high fuel pressure, so high that you have to push down on the airflow plate to get the car to idle. So there's a possibility right there, a blockage that's not allowing fuel to circulate. Now, the next thing is the vacuum connections. If you have an M110 engine car, this is going to go to vacuum, and if it doesn't go to vacuum, you're going to have some problems with the way that the car runs. This almost always goes to vacuum as well on almost any car, because this is where the warm-up regulator determines, it has some influence in the adjustment of the little bimetallic strip inside the warm-up regulator when it's under the influence of engine vacuum, because as you know, vacuum levels in these cars change as they warm up, change as they cool down, change with temperature outside ever so slightly. Now, the next problem that a lot of people run into with these things is that they may have a difficult time starting the car when it's cold. Now, this orifice that we talked about is clear, and your car just does not want to run when it's cold. It puts out a ton of black smoke, but then after it warms up, you've got a better running situation, and the car starts more easily. You may have a warm-up regulator issue. This is because the warm-up regulator is creating fuel pressures in the fuel distributor that are too high. And while the car will run, it runs rough, or it's hard to start because the plunger in the fuel distributor just can't move enough to let a correct amount of air in. I usually send these to CIS Flowtech for rebuilding, but there are some adjustments you can do. My friend Rob Bird has a really good understanding of this. To be quite frank with you guys, you know, apart from adjusting the movement of the bimetallic strip in here, I don't like to mess with them too much, because it seems like when I make an adjustment when the car is fully warmed up, it seems to affect the way that the car runs when it's cold. It ends up being a give or take situation. It also has a huge influence on fuel economy. So just so you know. Not that I'm discouraging this, but we don't have enough time in this video to go through all the adjustments. Now, another problem that these things have is that when the car gets to be fully warmed up, you may have not enough power, too lean. And this particularly seems to be a problem on 450 SLs. If that's the case, remember that your line pressure in here, if you're measuring it between the fuel distributor and this sucker, there's a line, and inside the metal line, if you can insert like an orifice connection here, you should have 3.4 to 3.8 bar with the engine fully warmed up, and 5.1 bar with the engine in warm-up mode, 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. After 5.3 or 5.4, I notice you start getting really rich. So in this case, I do recommend checking your line pressure first to determine if you have a real problem. Anyway, in the meantime, if you enjoyed this very short but hopefully informative description on warm-up regulators, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have a comment or you think that I left something out, be a little vicious and comment below. It's fine. I won't get offended. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, email me about MB owners. Email me at mbownersforlife@bellsouth.net. And for everybody who is supporting us on Patreon, thank you so much. I try to help you guys as much as I can. Enjoy driving your Mercedes Benz. This is a great fuel system. Jack Rosenfeld, great fuel system. And don't be afraid to work on your own car, or at least diagnose it yourself. Cheers.